Hello, Goddess, and welcome to this week's Twin Flame Tuesday. And after a very intriguing weekend movement in my own Twin Flame connection, as always, I look forward to these empowerment messages for my own journey, as well as intuitive for all of you as well. Because we all do resonate. There are, or should I say, there are pockets, right, within the collective, and we resonate. You know, we are drawn to those with whom we resonate in terms of where we are on our twin flame journeys, right? And so I can definitely see in that respect of where I've been in my connection and where the goddesses in my tribe are at in their connections for the majority. I mean, we're all kind of scattered about, but there is usually a collective energy. Of course there is. Of course there is. And for me, by the way, my name is Rochelle. Welcome, welcome to Empowerment Experiences, where we are healing twin flames all along that which is our self-love empowerment journeys. And that is exactly what a twin flame journey is. It is a self-love empowerment journey. And that is very much something that has been very amplified in the collective that I work with. And that is this. We will find ourselves holding on and in this struggle that we perpetuate until we finally reach that surrender phase. And I know for me in my journey, I am definitely in that surrender, letting go phase where, oh, I don't need you, mister. If that's how you're gonna be, I don't need you with me, okay? I love me more, and that's exactly what this is being an anchor of the light and amplifier of divine source love. You are a conduit through which divine source love is to flow from out into this world. And if you are in a space within yourself where you are not in a loving space, where you are first and foremost not truly loving yourself, then the energy that you are actually putting out into this world is not one of love. But boy, does that ego sure tell us stories. Whew, and that's very much in some places and in some ways in places where I know I am in my connection with my counterpart. Some definite stories that are being held on to within our connection that we are bit by bit by bit whittling away and working our way through, breaking down to break through. So that is wow. Apparently all of that needed to come out for all of us, dear sweet goddess. And as I said, though, we are moving forward. Okay, we are moving forward. It is the only way to go, is up. Forward is up on this journey of ascension. And the key is to always be able to come back into yourself and have power over you, your state of being, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, rather than giving power away to something outside of you that dictates your thoughts and emotions and feelings, which so often, again, is what our counterpart does, right? We get triggered by them and oh my goodness, if we're thinking about them and something else happens in our lives and it kind of rubs that wound as well, it just amplifies it more, right? Well, that is a gift. It is showing us where we have growth, right? Where we have an opportunity to grow. Those are what challenges are, okay? And I definitely know for me, I have found for myself because, you know, in short, there was things said throughout our conversation, which was 95% amazing, but then you had the other 5% that it was really not amazing at all. Very triggering, rubbing that wound, you know, poking the bear. You know, it's kind of like you have a boil or something on your skin and someone's sitting there, you know, and it hurts so, right? You have that going on. And it was such a state where energetically, for me, I recognized that, oh, I see where we're going and I don't want to go there. We're not going to go there. And if that's where you want to go, I'm done. And I literally shifted the phone to airplane mode and oh, sorry, no more connection. That is exactly what I did with my counterpart yesterday. Yet today there has been a bit of hangover energies from that, because when I opened it back up, of course, he had to have a few last things to say, and those were waiting for me. And so, I want to, because this is yesterday, we've now both, slept, right? So we are the ones who get to choose whether we bring yesterday's bullshit into today, or if we let it go and we create a canvas with fresh, clean paint rather than the dirty paint from yesterday, right? You're not going to get this clean, brilliant masterpiece of your day if you constantly muddy the water with the filthy paint water from yesterday, right? The dirty paints and the paint water and all that mess from yesterday. Don't bring it into today. And I even actually just said to him that I said, I have to admit, I want to shit on you the way you have shit on me right here. And then I'm like, deep breath. I actually put those words. He knows how I am. And he says a lot to me. He's like, well, you know what I feel, because he knows. So we have this connection, but at the same time, again, we're clearing out this other stuff. And believe me, the old version of Rochelle, where that anger, resides, where it took root, it wanted to be that part of me that attacked him. But anger is actually a cloaking device for grief, for pain, right? And so that means that we actually need to catch ourselves and look at the pain within ourselves. What are we actually grieving? Why are we really hurting? What in ourselves, what idea did we have that all of a sudden just got shattered? Because a lot of times that's why we find ourselves angry, is that we have an illusion. We have a perception of someone or something. And when something happens to shatter that, the ego likes to defend itself. And anger is the best defense, according to the ego. It's like, oh, really? You're going to do that to me? I'm going to do that to you. Eye for an eye. I'm going to fuck you up because you did this to me. And oh my God, how dare you? And we go into the finger pointing, you. When again, wherever your finger is pointing is where your power is going. So it's really important that if you want certain cycles and patterns to stop within your connection, especially when you guys are coming back together, you have to be conscious in the words that you speak and the actions that you take. Do not let your ego be the one in the driver's seat, because it will sabotage you. And I can very, very clearly see that in him after our first, 90 to 95% of the call in the beginning being amazing, our video call and our text chat, all of that. And then all of a sudden we just went in the toilet with his karmic, and it's been a year since his karmic was involved in our connection. So it's very much one of those. And I will happily create another video to kind of expand on this space from my perspective and my journey, how he is pulled to his karmic because she fit the third dimension requirements that his parents have placed upon him picking a wife. She was the right age. She had long dark hair. She was like, literally, I stick out like a complete sore thumb. Blonde, tall. I don't look as old as I am, but I am older. And I did not meet the requirements, even as much as, he loves me enough that he met me in Goa. We had all of these plans, and when he felt that it wasn't going to work and it was so hopeless, well, I get it. I've been feeling that hopelessness in myself being amplified, and it took me a moment to really be able to recognize that, I'm feeling his as well as mine. about us being able to be together, especially in the state of the world, and how backwards it is, where we have hundreds of thousands of people coming into our country the wrong way. And we were ready and willing to do it the right way, but oh my goodness. And if you don't know anything about the immigration process or even what it takes to get a visitor visa, please don't comment. I have spoken with attorneys and several other people that I know and adore, who they themselves are in multinational relationships, and our country of America is not the give us you're hungry, you're tired. No, we are not open arms. Even though a lot of us American citizens are, the government not so much. Especially if you do it the right way, which was really mind-boggling when I learned all of this when I met my counterpart. I had no idea. I digress, however. That is not exactly where I wanted this to go, but we are just following the flow and going with it wherever we are led, where we go with the flow, right? And so I am definitely eager to hear what is going to come through amidst this incredible shifting and growth that I know I've been going through, and that my own connection has been going through. And I can very much see it in the goddesses, in my tribe. And it's a free group, by the way. We are on Telegram, the Rise and Thrive Tribe. You are welcome to join. I will put that link down in the description below. And without further ado, I don't know about you, but let's see what we've got here. So let's start with my favorite deck here first and foremost. Oh my goodness, yeah. You know, as I said, there were so many things that I wanted to say, and I even told him on the message I did finally send was that I have written so many reactions from a place of anger. But then I remind myself, awareness is key. Oh, this is going to be a great one. And so if you're still with me in this, goddess, stick around, because I have a feeling this, of course, is going to be absolutely incredible. Because only through awareness can you actually change. Do you actually become aware of what you need to change? Can you actually become aware of what your state of being is, what your point of attraction is, what you're giving your attention to, right? Through awareness. Awareness brings consciousness. How is that? Awareness expands consciousness. Even better. There it is. Awareness expands consciousness. And the more conscious you are means the more aware you are. The more aware you are of your words, your thoughts, your state of being, your feelings, all these things. And that means the more conscious you are of them. And only through awareness do you begin to reclaim your power, because you cannot change that which you are unaware. And that is what happens in this twin flame journey, goddess, is when your counterpart comes back around yet again, we go through this shucking floor activity where we come together. It starts out okay, and then, oh, there we hit the block, and we rub and we rub, and we either break through or we repel, and we have to each go back into our own corners for a momentito and heal to a greater depth whatever was just triggered, right? Because you can't break a cycle that's being perpetuated especially by two people, when no one is breaking the cycle. If you come into this connection, you come back together with your counterpart to be presented with the challenge again to break certain cycles and patterns, to heal certain wounds, to rewrite templates for humanity. Those things are going to come together, and if anything is out of alignment, anything is creating blocks, or anything that is an antithesis to love frequency, that is more than the connection can sustain, you will repel apart again to do your own individual healing. And so again, when you come back together, you are given that opportunity for growth. And that means to be in this awareness space, to feel into the words you're saying and going, ooh, is this putting the frequency out that I want to receive back? Is staying and playing in yesterday's dirty paint water and dirty painting mess really gonna benefit the masterpiece that I desire to create with him today? Or is it better at that point to just let it go? These are some of the things that I very much can see at this point that you're being asked to let go of, the things that you wished you had said, but you didn't. Because that is one of the ways that you love yourself, Goddess, is that you get out of your head. You stop trying to change what has already happened when you can't. That is not where your power is. So the more you continue to focus on things that you wished you would have changed, is the more that separates you from the love, number one, within yourself, but also the love from your counterpart, because you are living in the past, not in the present. And it's only in the present that you can connect with your divine counterpart in the 5D. And only in this present moment are you even able to anchor the 5D and embody love and be your own best friend. Focusing on the past continues to perpetuate the past. The feelings, the circumstances. I mean, let me tell you, sister, my counterpart and I, we have perpetuated a couple of these cycles and patterns way too fucking much, if you ask me. But that is exactly why I'm like, no, I choose. I choose different. I choose different for me, and I choose different for we. And as such, different is what is created. Yeah, it's unknown and it can be so fucking scary. I get it, because it is unknown. But if you know that doing and saying certain things are going to create this sort of outcome, then why would you continue to feed that? Say, look, I know ego. I know that's what's familiar. I know that's what you want to do, is go into anger and defense mode and protect me. But you're not protecting me. You're actually hindering me. You're sabotaging me from the very things that I want. And this isn't just with your counterpart, Goddess. This is anything in your life. If you're talking against something that you want, yet you're saying that you want it, you desire this manifestation, you have this vision, but you're talking against it, then you're pushing this away. It is time to embody that feminine energy, that flow energy, that surrender energy, trusting the journey, acknowledging that, number one, you have nothing to fear. Number two, you are fully supported by the universe. Number three, so is your divine union with your twin flame. Number four. Do we have a number four? Going once, going twice? Out the door. I love my little rhymes. A goddess in her power trusts herself, trusts her journey. She loves herself, because trust is a facet of love, right? Compassion is a facet of love. So when you truly love yourself, when you are really, truly stepping into this goddess self that you are, by loving yourself, then you are really going to be able to tune in to that awareness, because you're going to be more self-aware. And the more self-aware you are, Goddess, the more awareness you possess, period. The more aware you are of what your state of being is, what your point of attraction is, the more aware you are of what is being mirrored to you from your counterpart, or even from the world in general. Awareness, Goddess. Because yeah, that anger is, like I said, it is a masking. Right? It is a defense mechanism that you were taught to utilize from a very, very young age. That's what anger was. That's what anger is. Yes, when expressed in a healthy manner, it can be very, very empowering. But when it is allowed to have power over you, to sabotage you, to sabotage your love, to sabotage your abundance, to sabotage your life, it's time to look at that and ask yourself, is this really serving me? Or is it time to breathe through this and release this in a healthy way so that I can actually say, like water off a duck's back, or 2 teardrops in a bucket, fuck it. Like I don't care what happens per se. I don't care because I don't have power over you and your experience. I have power over me, and having power over me is what influences my experience with everything in the world, especially your counterpart. And like I said, Goddess, there are times when in my journey I have doubted, which you've heard me say, doubt is very much a part of the twin flame journey, because it is the gift that helps you to strengthen your faith, to strengthen your knowing, right? That is what that's the light in the doubt. The doubt is the dark, and the knowing and the trust is the light. And that's where that stopped, right there. We're doing this. We're doing this. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. It is time to reinvent yourself, Goddess. By becoming aware of the things that are no longer serving you, by becoming aware of who you've been, how you have responded to things, or more so how you have reacted in the past. And that's very much about relationships. What we are here to help rewrite is reactionary relationships, right? Well, he did this, so I'm gonna go do this. Well, he cheated on me, so I'm gonna go. You know, that eye for an eye, that's all ego. It's all ego. Karma takes care of it for us. Karma is not our responsibility, other than what our own karmic lessons are to be learned. It is not our place to enact karma upon someone else. It's not. Everything does balance out. So you have been being asked for a while now to be creating this reality. Have you? Have you envisioned this version of yourself? Are you stepping into this version of yourself? I mean, even I admit that I've only done it half-assed. I admit, up until recently, because it has been such a space of hopelessness. What's the point, right? Why bother? Healing all that, becoming aware of those sabotages, of those stories, of those beliefs that have kept me out of my goddess power. I now get to point out to you and say, this is what will keep you out of your goddess power. Are these stories, these beliefs about yourself that really are not you, and yet at the same time, you've not decided who you are. That's what you're being asked to do. Who is this true goddess within you? And then as you increase your awareness, that will expand your consciousness, you then are expanding more and more into this version of yourself. You're healing that inner child. You're loving yourself at a depth as never before, and genuinely, because that was something that I learned very early on in my coaching practice, is how many goddesses would come to me, and some would be, you know, they do their hair and their nails, and they're always, you know, on the outside, you would think they were confident and they loved themselves, but underneath that facade, no, they didn't. They did not. So when I say truly love yourself, I mean to the very depth of you, and I mean all of you. all of you. The perceived fuck ups and bad choices that you've made. If you look at it from the perspective from the soul, if you have that awareness that you are an infinite soul being having a temporary human experience, and you recognize that this is a school for your soul, this earth school of learning to harness energy, then you can begin bit by bit to shift that perspective into the knowing that everything that happens here, when it's labeled right or wrong, that's the ego. That everything instead that happens here is information for the soul's growth. It's not actually right or wrong. It's just, oh, that way didn't work. That is not the path. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. But that's the thing, is the ego is so hung up on labels. Even when I talk about being a self-love empowerment coach, it took me a minute to resonate with a label, because I was not one to be like, don't call me a life coach, even though obviously that's what I'm here for, is to help you reclaim power in your life, or an intuitive life coach, or those. I mean, even though that, again, that's what I am an intuitive. However, self-love empowerment, that like I feel that. I'm aware, through awareness, I feel that at a completely different level than the other things. And that's how you can really be, again, in that awareness of tuning into you and your state of being and going, yes, that resonates with me. No, that doesn't. Right? Because a goddess, she knows herself. She knows herself, and she is not dependent on anybody outside of her to tell her who she is or to fill any hole inside of her, because she knows it's her responsibility to fill her own cup so full that it overflows into those around her. So now is this time, goddess, where you get to decide. I'm not talking about creating the whole new reality of what you want to live. I'm talking about, who are you? Who is she? Who is the goddess within you? How does she handle situations where old versions of her would bite someone's head off, bite them off, or, rip their throats out? I had a girlfriend who would say, I'm going to punch him in the throat. You know what I mean? This world, the collective, has so much anger that we are here to assist with transmuting. And that transmutation only happens within ourselves. Only happens within ourselves. Okay? It begins within. That's where your power is. It's inside you. And if it's ever anywhere outside of you, then you are responsible for taking that shit back and saying, you don't have power over me. I have power over me. I'm a motherfucking goddess. Okay? I choose what is best for me. I am a sovereign, autonomous being, backed by the divine, who has come here with a mission, a purpose for my soul. And nobody else gets to tell me what the fuck that looks like. And we are in the midst of this liberation of humanity from a matrix of systems and governments and regulations that never had humanity's best interest at heart. We're here to liberate humanity from that, and it's gonna be bumpy, which is, again, all the reason why to be focusing on you. Because in you, that's where your power is. You can't control anything, allergies, can't control anything outside of you. Other than, and this is how, other than your point of attraction that you are putting out into the world. And like I said, this includes especially your twin flame connection. Now, goddess, if you are feeling a certain way and it feels so amplified, you can believe, you can trust that your counterpart feels the same. And that, remember, you as the leader, the goddess leader in your connection, you can transmute that for not just you, but him too, for the connection itself. And that in turn gets you closer to the vision that you desire, because you better believe, I know my counterpart is like, oh, manifestation, poppycock, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like he doesn't, even though we manifested Goa, you know, but that's what we do, is we go through this denial space as well. Doubt and denial, they kind of go hand in hand, right? Where it's like, I don't believe, no, right? Doubt and denial. They're like, they're bar buddies, okay? They like to hang out at the dive bar. And it is not a pretty bar, I'll tell you that. Anywho, you know, especially when you feel as though you feel hopeless. You feel hopeless in whatever it is you desire to manifest, you can definitely fall into that space of, oh, it's just poppycock. All of a sudden, I'm really liking that word, poppycock. Anywho, apparently I'm liking that today too. So, that said, next, well, having compassion for him and for you when you are in that doubt and denial space. When you're doubting that he loves you, when you're doubting that he's coming back, when you're in denial that you are twin flames, when you're in denial that you felt what you felt, there's no way that could possibly be true, because the way it looks right now, it's not that, so it can't be true, right? Doubt and denial. Oh, the trouble twins. But compassion, as I've already mentioned, being a facet of love. When you have compassion for where you are, for where he is, and that's very much, I know for me, that is being amplified in my connection, is having that compassion for him. And really looking at the space for myself of being grateful that I can be there for him. Knowing what I know and guiding him how I can. Because he's still with me. She hasn't been in either one of our lives for nearly a year. But he and I have been a part of each other's lives. It'll be 3 years on September 20th. So, recognizing that we are all doing the best we can with what we were given. And that, again, every bit on this journey is information to help us gain a deeper understanding about ourselves, about each other, about this world, about the universe. It's only the ego that makes mountains out of molehills. It's only the ego. But when you can tune into your soul, then you will see the light in yourself and others, because you are a light. Your soul is the light. And again, that's what it is to embody this version of yourself, this true goddess self. Set her free, liberate her from the recesses within you, as you know, you've been too afraid to step into that true you because of the inner child damage that was done, the inner child wounding, the trauma that caused you, instead of going into love, to go into anger and shame and blame and regret and guilt. I don't know if I usually tend to say guilt multiple times, because the guilt and regret, they're buddies too, right? You know, oh, I wish I'd said this instead. I wish I'd done. Well, this is what's happening here, is you are being presented with this opportunity to grow in that. You wished, you asked for that. You asked for the opportunity to go back and do something different. Well, guess what? You are being given that opportunity to do and be different. Moving forward. No, you cannot go back and undo and change and redo what was, but you bet your ass, goddess, you can choose right here and now to do and be different here and now and moving forward. You are the one that's got to break the cycles. You are the catalyst, goddess. You are the more aware awakened one in this connection. And I started using aware awakened because remember, the story we tell is the reality we live. And in the beginning, I was falling for the twin flame nonsense that one's awakened and one's a matrix twin, one's asleep and one's awake. Well, if you continue to tell that story, then your counterpart will stay asleep. They won't wake up. So instead, I say aware awakened. And by that, what I mean really quick is that the aware awakened counterpart is very aware of what the fuck is going on, the twin flame connection, learning about it, doing the work, fully immersed. Yeah, bring it, bring it. Whereas the awakened one is just like, oh, I'm aware of, I'm awakened to this connection. But I'm not totally down with it. Wait a minute. That's too much for me. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna keep plugging away in the matrix. Even though he is awakened to the connection, he is making a choice to continue to perpetuate his subconscious sabotaging ways. And like I said, that is exactly what my counterpart was doing to me yesterday after this amazing call, an amazing chat. Then all of a sudden he starts sabotaging me. But see, I can see this. I know this. And that's why there are times when he does say to me, he goes, but I know you know. And the way he says it, he has those moments where when he says that to me, because of our connection, where I can feel it in him, where he lets go for those moments, where it's like he doesn't have to pretend, he doesn't have to hide. He can just be in that moment with me. Because he is right, I do know. And I tell him, no, I don't know when I don't know certain things. When I'm like, yes, I can feel that. But that's what compassion is, God. It's taking that step back and recognizing that through having compassion for yourself in realizing and being aware of your own sabotaging behaviors and thoughts and patterns and cycles, that you then can have a deeper compassion for your journey and in turn have a deeper compassion for his journey, which is something that is going to negate, to dissolve anger. Being clear, being intentional. Like I've said about muddying, that's what's coming back to me right now is the muddy paint water from yesterday. If you're bringing that into today, then you are muddying the water. You're ickying up the water of intention for today. If you're trying to bring yesterday's bullshit into today, but yet you want a certain outcome, that's not a clear intention. That's muddying the water with yesterday's bullshit. Yesterday's bucket of crap, man. And if you've ever painted anything and you've used the same paint water for your brushes, you know how icky that water can get. Or if you've used, oh my goodness, like I'm totally drawing a blank, but the holder thingy for the paint, God, I can't even think of what it is, but the artist's palette, right? Where you have all your paints poured out and you're holding that and then you're blending and you're mixing and all those mixed colors and stuff. It's time to start fresh. It's time to reinvent yourself and ask yourself, who is the goddess within me that is in union with her divine counterpart? Who is she? What character traits does she have? How does she hold herself? How does she speak? How does she show up in the world? Intentionally, I'm sure. Because when you are behind something with pure intention, when you speak something with pure intention, you get that mirrored back to you. The universe is very clear then on what you're asking for and therefore what you are going to be receiving. That's the key. Holy moly. What else needs to be said about this card? This is just coming up to really reiterate that anger is necessary for this journey. The key is in learning how to utilize it effectively in an empowered fashion, in an empowered manner, rather than letting it have power over you, sabotaging all that you desire. That's freaking great, because it's just time to get into the flow. And when you can learn healthy ways to express your anger without bringing that shit into the connection, right? To recognize that this is your shit. Yours. It's not his. It's not your mama's. It's nobody else's. Now, yes, again, as twin flames, we do feel our counterpart. But recognize that if you are experiencing this at a high magnitude, then you can believe that it's in the connection as well. That your counterpart is also, and I know my counterpart has suppressed a lot of anger that we've been clearing out. We've been working through for months and months and months. Oh my gosh, for years, in fact. And it wasn't about us. It was our own baggage, right? Our own baggage that we carried into this relationship, into this connection. And not just this life, but past life as well. So it is time to get into the flow, goddess. And that means to, again, allow for your human emotions to flow through an outlet that is healthy. Like, again, I don't know how many things I wrote out to him, and I went, that does not feel good. We're not sending that. Nope. And then I would erase it, and then I would start again. And then I'm like, no, mean girl, sit down and zip it. And instead, breath work, exercise, dancing, whatever you need to release this. So you stop running it through the connection. Because think about it. If you trying to visualize, create a visualization for you, and that word try, I caught myself. Awareness, right? Awareness. But when you can, like you're filtering water, right? If you keep letting infected water, bringing infected water into the system, it doesn't get clean. But instead, if you filter that water bit by bit, you clean it bit by bit, and you stop bringing any other infected water into it. And bit by bit, you cleanse it, you purify it. Soon, you'll have completely pure water. And that's exactly the connection, goddess. That is what physical harmonious union is about. Divine union is this pure, clean connection where flow is uninhibited. There is no block. There is no impurity to stifle the flow of love within you. Okay? So with that, flow and anger. We didn't even get the deck shuffled, because looky here. Releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. That's yet another very good example, because if you continue to keep all of that, the sediments and the ickiness in the water, which are all these old patterns, and that's exactly what I'm saying is happening in my connection, is we are releasing these soul patterns, past life bullshit that he and I through lifetimes have carried with us. Because it's time to be unbound. That is this liberation. That is this breaking free of the matrix. It's breaking free of all these contracts and bullshit, all these lower vibrational frequencies that have kept you disempowered. Wow. And another one, the crumbling, what are you clinging on to? Because obviously this anger factor, this anger is also showing you that you are clinging on to something that you are afraid to let go of. And guess what? Fear, the number one emotion with fear is anger. Because that's the way that our ego protects ourselves. This is why right now in the collective, there's so much arguing, so much anger between people, because the fear mongering by the matrix, the systems, the governments is just so out of control. But that's the point of us getting control over ourselves, becoming aware of what the agenda really is in this world, to recognize that you're not just a fucking human. You chose to become one, to fulfill a purpose that you had here in this realm. But human is not your natural state, not your original state. You are an infinite soul being, an energetic being, which is all the reason why law of attraction is a thing, because what you emit is what you get. So it reaches that point where you've got to recognize for yourself that you are a fucking goddess who has chosen to come down here to assist humanity with the Great Awakening, to help liberate them from the enslavement that all of these governments and systems have perpetrated on humanity collectively. When you step back far enough into that observer space, you will see a bird's eye view of what is happening in this world. Let's see what our Sacred Forest Oracle has for us. Perhaps just one, in fact, oh, look, we actually have a couple that just jumped out. Oh, and how interesting. This one card was left, so apparently we're taking that one too, because holy moly, the flow card again. Look at that, flow, goddess, because it's all about the flow. Looky there. Wow, we have so many today. This is probably my largest reading yet. Okay, so flow, again, getting in the flow, goddess, and you are the only one that can feel yourself in the flow, right? So it comes down to you focusing, right? What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on something that is forward movement, or are you focusing on something like the past that is stagnant energy, that is keeping you blocked, right? So when you're in the flow, like I said, it's forward movement, it's ascension, it's nowhere to go but up, right? That's what's going to assist with your flow state of being, okay? Is what are you giving your focus to? Again, awareness of that to which you may or may not be giving your power away. And you are here to transmute this. Oh my gosh, the transmutation of anger. I just love when these things when cards support. Oh, this just gets me so excited. I love this so much. But transmutation, because that's what you're here to do. Goddess, you're here to increase your awareness, to expand your consciousness so you can transmute all of this lower frequency, this third dimensional drama into light energy, into love frequency. So Gaia ascends and we are dropping weight, so to speak. That's what is happening here. When we transmute something, we are letting go of the heavy shit. right? We're changing it from something heavy into something light, something dark into something light. Oh my goodness, you have transmutation, transformation, because again, this rebirth, reinvent yourself, right? It is time again to get clear on who are you, Goddess? Who are you? Really? Not what anybody else said you were. Who are you? It's time to step into that butterfly. Because that's exactly what is happening in this Earth School. Is humanity as a whole, collectively, is going from caterpillar living into butterflies. They're just those of us who are getting our master's degrees already, shall we say. Happiness is something that must be cultivated within you, right? So how beautiful that we have anger and then we have happiness, right? You can choose to be happy that you have an increased awareness. You can choose to be happy that you have anger to help show you the places that you have to heal within you. You can look for, as we've been talking a lot lately because of my, I love my nails so much, you can look for all the little things in your experience that make you smile, that inspire that joy and that happiness within you. I mean, again, I'm just like, just loving my nails. They make me so happy. So happy. But you are the catalyst. You are the one that has to find that stability within yourself. To be in such a state of self-empowerment that nothing outside of you sways or knocks you off of your feet. Or if it does, it's like, oh my gosh, this is all of a sudden what I'm seeing. Those older generations may definitely know. I don't know if they still make anything like this anymore, but remember those blow-ups? Like, they were just tall, slender. They actually honestly look like an old school dildo if you ask me, but the tall, and it comes to like a ball on the head or a point on the head, and it had the weight at the bottom. It was this blow-up thing, like even a punching bag thing, right? But it had that weight that kept it stable. This is what you're building for yourself, Goddess, this weight at the bottom. So that no matter what happens, when the world tries to knock you over, you like, boop, gotcha, bitch. Knock you over again, boop. Not this one, not today, Satan. I love seeing that phrase in places. Not today, Satan. I think it's great. But that's what your responsibility is, Goddess. This is why you will always hear me remind you that the power is inside of you, right? It is about you reconnecting with you, inside you. And especially when your counterpart comes back and you guys are finally having that forward movement. And trust me, sister, I'm telling you this from experience. When you're finally having that forward movement, you can have that bounce back immediately. And we're getting there. Like I said, this built up for me yesterday to where I reached a point that I had to go, okay, nope. I'm kind of like being held down. Nope. I'm ready to bounce back, but I'm not able to bounce. Kind of time to just shut the door. And throughout the day, I got my stability back because I recognize where my responsibility is. It's over me, not him. And if you reach a point where you feel as though your emotions are getting out of control, that is actually you shifting into a place where you are giving your power away to them. Don't do that. Say, you know what? I'm gonna go. I need some time. It's not you, it's me, and it's true, right? It's true. It's not you. It really is me. I gotta go get my shit back. I gotta bounce myself back into stability place here. And we'll talk soon. So that is where your power is today, Goddess, is in focusing on the stability within yourself. This right here, this card right here, stability. That's where we are. Focusing on your point of attraction, your state of being. And the moment, again, I reiterate, the moment you start to feel your shit getting wonky, remove yourself. Disengage from whatever the experience is that is throwing you off kilter. You have that power. I assure you, you always have a choice. And how intriguing, we have a double digit that came up. Number 23, I really, really want to see what this says. And like I said, this is going to be like the longest video, empowerment message video that I've done. All right, let's see here, angel numbers. And of course, I don't have that one on my little, I haven't made that little square yet, so I will to publish it, but let's see here. What do we have? Angel number, oh, well, how interesting. It came up, angel number love. And since it's Twin Flame Tuesday, let's look at that. Ooh, it does say, holy moly. Angel number 23 reveals that it is time to start living your life to the fullest. Yeah, stepping into that true version of you. Oh my goodness, your guardian angel is guiding you to love with nothing less than joy and happiness. You've got to allow yourself to be led. And it says with this, you will end up making the world a better place for you as well as others. 23 is encouraging you to believe in yourself and the quality of your natural abilities, thus this goddess card. Because you are a fucking powerful goddess. Okay? Do not let your ego keep you stuck in that corner, stuck in a box. Like one of my favorite movies, nobody puts baby in a corner. Yep. Yep. But again, oh my goodness. You need to find balance in your life for perfect harmony, joy, and happiness and peace of mind. Stability, balance. They're near interchangeable as well. So there you go. 23 very much supports today's message for us. That said, that wraps it for today. Oh my goodness. Wow. This was a very massive message for one. A lot had to obviously come through to really bring home the fact that the power is in your hands, Goddess. And to amplify the awareness that anger is a gift when you are aware of the gift that it is. All right? And that means to be the one having power over yourself, getting stability within you, and in turn, stability will automatically happen in your life. As within, so without. All right? So again, whatever is happening inside you is the very thing you're going to attract. And again, if you're putting out anger and frustration, especially to your counterpart, that is what you're going to get back. You're going to get experiences within that trigger more anger and frustration. So it is time that you shift into that goddess self, get clear on who she is, how she shows up, and then be ready to do all of that inner child healing work, okay? It's time for you to break free, to liberate yourself. All right? What? That said, Goddess, we have reached the hour mark, and I appreciate you so very much for sticking it out and receiving this entire message, getting to the part where definitely your power is. When you are ready for a deeper dive into your own journey, looking for more customized one-on-one support, I do have sessions available. I do also offer multiple month sessions and such for an actual long-term outcome that you desire. You can book a single session at IamEmpowered.as.me. And of course, if you're looking for a more in-depth one-on-one program, definitely you can comment below. You can find me on Instagram at Healing Twin Flames. And of course, my website, empowermentexperiences.com. Reach out to me. I actually do not post my one-on-one in-depth packages. Those are request only, so you do have to reach out to me. They are application-based, you could say. I don't work with just anybody. All right. That said, dear sweet goddess, I appreciate you, and I promise you, the power is in your hands to achieve anything and everything you desire. It is in your hands because it has always been inside you. Namaste.